Okay, today we talk about electrolysis, right? So we'll see what is electrolysis, what are the principles involved in electrolysis, and what kind of substances are we going to get at different electrodes. So once we start the electrolysis, this is the agenda of the class. So electrolysis is done. So let's say I got an electrolytic cell. So this is an electrolytic cell, simple, a glass container. This is an electrolytic cell. So this electrolytic cell is filled with the substance which should be electrolyzed. That is, let us take a NaCl. NaCl, molten NaCl I have taken here. Molten NaCl means liquid NaCl without any water. Liquid NaCl without any water. So in which we have to place two metal rods which are inert in nature. So this is one metal rod, this is another metal rod. Two metal rods are placed and these metal rods are connected to battery, right? So this is the NaCl solution filled inside the electrolytic cell. So what will happen when electricity is passed through these two electrodes? So let us say one is positive electrode, another is negative electrode, right? So when these two are connected to a battery and electricity is passed, the NaCl electrolysis takes place. NaCl electrolysis takes place and we will get the products here, right? Electrolytic cell, and the NaCl is called as electrolyte. And these two are the electrodes. These two are electrodes. So when these two are connected to the battery, the electrolysis process begins. So in electrolysis process, what will happen? The NaCl undergoes ionization and produces Na plus ion and Cl minus ion. This is the first process which takes place in the electrolysis process. That is what we call it as ionization, right? So sodium is a cation, sodium plus is a cation and Cl minus is a anion, we know it. And cation is attracted towards, cation के पास positive charge है, तो इसमें we have obtained Na plus ions and Cl minus ions. So these Na plus ions are attracted towards the negative pole, Cl minus ions are attracted towards the positive pole. Since cations are attracted by this, so we call it as cathode, and anions are attracted by it, so we call it as anode, right? So the first reaction, cathode and anodes are produced, cations, anions are produced. Next one, the anion goes to anode, so which is Cl minus, will be forming Cl2 gas. So 1/2 Cl2 gas is formed with one electron released. Yeah, you can also write like this: 2 Cl minus gives 1 Cl2 molecule with 2 electrons released out. So anode के पास जो भी reaction होगा, that is what we call it as oxidation. Anode के पास कौन सा reaction होगा? Oxidation होता है. And anode के पास always a gas is released. So except hydrogen gas, all the gases will release at anode. You have to remember this. JEE ने पूछा है, which of the following is a product at anode? So oxidation, chlorine gas is produced here. You got the chlorine gas, you got half a mole of chlorine gas is sodium metal. Sodium metal is produced. So at cathode के पास always a metal is deposited, metal is formed, or a gas is produced, that is the only hydrogen gas can produce at cathode. So this is the general electrolysis process. In electrolysis process, these are the things generally keep happening. So here is some picture here. I got an electrolysis tank here in which electrolysis is being done. So he has taken NaCl, right? So and one is positively charged electrode, another is negatively charged electrode. So this will attract anions, that's why we call it as anode, and the other one is called as cathode. So here is labeled as anode and the cathode. What will happen? Anode ke paas Cl minus ions, that is Cl minus ions are oxidized to Cl2 by loss of 2 electrons. And at cathode, what will happen? Sodium ions, these sodium ions take up 2 electrons and produce 2 sodium ions, right? Do you understand what is electrolysis?
Yes, sir.
Right? So in electrolysis process, cathode के पास क्या release हो रहा है? Sodium metal is formed, and at anode what gas is released? Cl2 gas is released. Right? These are the two substances released. So the amount of sodium formed at cathode or amount of chlorine gas released at anode is directly proportional to किसके बराबर होगा? So the mass of silver is directly proportional to current passing through it I, and it is also directly proportional to the time of the current passing through it. ये दोनों के directly proportional होगा. What do you say?
Sir, can you repeat?
So let us say I got two processes. एक process में, यही process में I have done electrolysis for 1 minute. In other process I have continued for 10 minutes. The amount of sodium produced in 10 minutes and 1 minute कैसे होगा? Are they equal? Let us say 1 minute में 1 gram produce हुआ. 10 minutes में कितना produce होना चाहिए?
10 grams.
Yeah, more than 1 gram. What do you say? Greater than 1 gram. Let us say 10 grams produce हो रहा है. That means longer the time of electrolysis, greater the amount formed at cathode, and so as anode. Right? So the amount of substances produced at anode or cathode is directly proportional to time. तो यहाँ वही है, इसका कुछ दूसरा पिक्चर लिया है मैंने. Cl minus is coming here, Na plus is going here, cathode and anode बैटरी से कनेक्टेड है. यहाँ जो क्लोरीन प्रोड्यूस हो रहे हैं इसका मास या वॉल्यूम कुछ भी ले सकते हो, किसके डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल होगा? दोनों आइटम्स के डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल होगा. फर्स्ट वन इज द टाइम ऑफ इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस, second one is the amount of current passing through it, the charge passing through it. ये दोनों के directly proportional होगा. What I mean to say, higher is the charge, greater is the amount produced at an electrode, and as well as higher is the time, amount is also higher. Right? So this is what we have to see here. So this is what we call it as electrolysis में. So Faraday first law. So we are talking about Faraday first law. Just let me in someone. Swatik, what is the time of the class and what time are you joining the class? Satvik. Right. So we talk about the Faraday first law. Simple है, देख लीजिए. Mass of sodium formed is directly proportional to the charge passing through the electrolysis process or the amount of current used in the reaction, electrolysis process. This is the first one. And even the mass of sodium is also directly proportional to time of electrolysis. Time of electrolysis. That means if the process of electrolysis is higher, if you continue for longer time, the mass of sodium formed would be greater. ये दोनों के directly proportional होता है. This is what the Faraday first law. Hope you understand. Do you understand? Should I repeat it again?
Understood.
You got it?
Yes, sir.
Vijay Raghava, what is the time of the class and what time are you trying to join the class? Right. So this is the case here. So we got sodium, that is mass of sodium is directly proportional to charge or current. Generally current we denote it by I, so that is current in amperes, and mass of sodium is also directly proportional to time, that is T. Generally किस में लेते हैं? Seconds में लेते हैं. Right? So we can also apply the same thing for chlorine. Mass of chlorine is directly proportional to current passing through it in amperes, and mass of chlorine is also directly proportional to time of electrolysis in seconds. What do you say? ये दोनों आप लिख सकते हैं. So generally आपको if you multiply current in amperes and time, this turns out to be Q. So Q is the total charge in coulombs. Total charge in coulombs के बराबर होता है. IT equal to Q एक फार्मूला है, आपको याद रखना है. I and T becomes equals to Q. So what can I write here? So M is directly proportional to I dot T, or I can write M is directly proportional to Q. So where Q equals to I and T. So ये दोनों फार्मूला आपको मिल जाएंगे. Right? So I rewrite this equation. So M equals to, I can take a constant here Z and Q. So Z is a proportionality symbol, but here we call it as electrochemical equivalent. Constant होता है ये हर एक substance के लिए. This guy is constant. So this is electrochemical equivalent. So this is the formula we have got it. Or you can also write as M equal to Q के जगह you can write I and T. So we end up with M equal to Z. M equal to Z, that is, so T is what? Time. In seconds में लेते always. I is the current. So in amperes, and Z is the chemical equivalent. This is the mass of the substance released, mass of any electrode formed here. Right? So this is what the Faraday first law is. Faraday first law ka mathematical expression could be this. Even you can also write this. Even you can also mention this one. इसको भी आप mention कर सकते हैं. Right? So we'll see what about Z here. So we got M equals to ZQ. Yeah, Z equals to M by Q होता है. Right? So Z is the electrochemical equivalent and this is the M by Q. What is M? M is the mass M is the mass and Q is the total charge passing through it. We'll see few examples here. मेरे पास Ag plus ion है. Ag plus takes up one electron and produces Ag. Ag का atomic mass होता है 108. So this one electron equals to 1 Faraday. That is 1 mole of electrons is called 1 Faraday. That 1 Faraday equals to, we have seen that it is the charge of 1 mole electron. Charge of 1 mole of electrons. 1 mole of electrons, which is 1 electron का charge होता है 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs times 1 mole will be having 6.02 into 10 power 23 electrons. On multiplying this, we end up with 96,500 coulombs. This is equals to 1 Faraday. So what is the meaning it here? 1 Faraday use करने से we obtain 108 grams of silver is obtained. Right? And this one electron which is there, this is the responsible for its n factor. इसी को we call it as n factor, or U positive charge है ना, this is also known as n factor. Right, I'll take one more example here. So that is, I got magnesium plus 2, so which takes up 2 electrons and produces magnesium. So which is how many grams? 24 grams. Atomic mass of magnesium is 24 grams. Here how many Faradays are used? 2 Faradays are used. So magnesium के लिए n factor is 2, so it is 24 grams, isn't it? So the amount of substance formed here, so that is what we have to divide here. So the mass of the substance is equals to, so it is equals to atomic mass divided by its n factor. Atomic mass by n factor. If n equal to 1, the mass produced will be equal to atomic mass. That is the case of silver. You check it. If n equals to 2, the mass would be equal to half of its atomic mass. n अगर 2 हो गए, so ये 24 है, 24 by 2 equals to how many? 12 grams. So that is the mass of it. Let us take one more example. Al plus 3 takes up 3 moles of electrons and produce aluminium, which is 27 grams. That means how many Faradays are used here? 3 Faradays are used to produce 27 grams. So mass for this would be atomic mass by its valency factor 3. So that is obviously atomic mass is 27, which is divided by 3 equals to 9 whole. So that means here this m, what I can write here, this can be equal to, this can be equal to mass equal to atomic mass divided by n, and we know that Q is 96,500. So that means it should be 1 by 96,500. So this is how you calculate the Z value for any kind of reactant here. So we'll take up the final formula for the Faraday first law using this, then we'll go for the next one. So this is the formula, we got it here. The Z equals to atomic mass divided by n factor into 96,500, right? So 96,500 equal to 1 cube, 1 coulomb के बराबर है. अगर Q equal to 1 हो गया, so M equals to Z के बराबर होता है, right? So then we remodify the equation. So M equals to Z, M equals to Z, I, T is the formula, we got it. But we know that Z equals to atomic mass divided by n factor into 1 by 96,500. This is the ECE, electrochemical equivalent. So it is fixed for everything here. इसमें देख लीजिए, atomic mass is a constant for a given element. This number is also a fixed number है. So what is changing here? The valency factor matters here. Valency factor is the one which matters here. So I rewrite the formula here. So the mass of any substance formed equals to, so it's atomic mass divided by n into I into T divided by 96,500. तो आपको ये फार्मूला याद रखना है, इसको लिख लीजिए कहीं. So this is the final formula of the Faraday first law.
Sir?
Yeah.
So is n factor dependent upon the charge or the electrons?
It depends upon, it is the valency of a metal. I'll give you the examples. For Na plus, how many charges are present? 1. N factor is 1. Magnesium plus 2. How many charges are there? 2. Al plus 3. How many charges are there? 3.
3.
Right. Copper sulfate is given to you. So where copper is in plus 2, N factor is 2. Yeah. So this is how you calculate. Most of the cases यही देंगे आपको. Silver chloride AgCl. So Ag plus में है, N factor is 1. Right. So it is the charge on the it is the valency of the cation. N is nothing but the valency of cation.
So,
Yes.
we have only taken the cases where cation and anion are having same valence. For example, if we take Ca3PO4 whole twice, then what will be then?
Ca3, okay.
PO4 whole.
So कैल्शियम फास्फेट की बात हो रही है ना आपका पास? Are you talking about this?
Yes, sir.
So if you are talking about this, इसमें कैल्शियम का चार्ज कितना है? Ca plus 2 ये. Ultimately, our aim of electrolysis is कैल्शियम फास्फेट को कैल्शियम में कन्वर्ट करना है. तो यहाँ से इधर आने में how many electrons are required? Only 2 electrons. N factor is 2. Okay. So whatever the amount produced here, so anion के पास ये आप ऐसे बोल रहे, ले लीजिए. One more example we'll see. AlCl3 का इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस देखेंगे, Al2O3 का इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस देखेंगे. AlCl3 में what cation you get? Plus 3. So of course it needs 3 electrons to get Al. तो N factor would be how much here? 3 लेना है. Right? So what about anion? Cl minus is converting into half Cl2 plus 1 electron. बोलिए. So N factor कितना लेना चाहिए? यहाँ आपको एक ही चार्ज है ना, एक ही इलेक्ट्रॉन रिलीज हो रहा है, so 1 लेना है. Most of the time अगर if it is a गैस के लिए वैल्यूम कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं. 1 मोल है तो 22.4 होगा, लेकिन यहाँ हाफ मोल प्रोड्यूस हो रहे हैं. by 2 equals to how much? 11.2 लीटर्स प्रोड्यूस होगा. आपको डायरेक्टली गैस के लिए वैल्यूम कर सकते या ये भी कर सकते. सो यहाँ देखो Al2O3, तो यहाँ भी आपको Al plus 3 मिलेगा, which takes up 3 electrons and produces Al, which is how many grams? 27 grams, right? But anode के पास O2 minus will be converted into O2, right? So if I take 2 moles, how many electrons are released out here? 4 electrons are released, isn't it? 4 electrons are released. So this O2 is calculated. On basis of this you have to take 4 as a valency factor में लेना है. ऑक्सीजन का केस में N factor becomes 4. Okay, so we'll clear out them in some reactions. So you have to note these reactions here. So mass equal to atomic mass times I times T divided by N into 96,500. This is the formula. Right. Next to volume of Cl2 equal to, आप डायरेक्ट ये ले सकते 11.2 इंटू आई इंटू टी डिवाइडेड बाई 96,500 ले सकते. डायरेक्टली आपको वैल्यूम ऑफ क्लोरीन मिल जाएगा. ऑलरेडी आपको 1 मोल ऑफ क्लोरीन प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है ना, तो उसको मैंने हाफ लीटर ले लिया है एसटीपी में. तो 22.4 को हाफ करके आई हैव टेकन द वैल्यू हियर. एंड देयर इज नो लॉन्गर व्हाट यू से the n factor को डिवाइड किया मैंने, राइट. सो दिस इज obtained from nothing but 22.4 into I into T divided by 2 into 96,500. This is the case here. Volume of oxygen equal to, आपको 5.6 लेना होगा क्योंकि 22.4 divided by 4 would be 5.6 into I into T divided by 96,500, which is equal to 22.4 by 4 into I into T divided by 96,500. मैं O2 4 ले रहा हूँ क्योंकि 2 moles of O2 minus 2 gives O2 to produce 4 electrons out. इसलिए 1 mole के लिए 4 electrons required हो रहे हैं ना. So 1 एसटीपी वैल्यूम को 4 से डिवाइड कर दिया है. आपको ये तीनों फार्मूले कहीं ना कहीं लिख लीजिए क्योंकि मास कैलकुलेट करके आपको वैल्यूम में भी कन्वर्ट कर सकते हो. सो दिस इज द फाइनल रिजल्ट ऑफ द फैराडे फर्स्ट लॉ. तो आप ऐसा भी कर सकते हैं, मास ऑफ क्लोरीन कैलकुलेट करके यू कैन ऑल्सो कन्वर्ट इट इनटू वैल्यूम. अदरवाइज यू यूज डायरेक्टली दिस फॉर्मूला आप यूज करके ऑक्सीजन और क्लोरीन के लिए ये दोनों कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं. बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस में एनोड के पास यही 2 गैसेस आपको रिलीज होता है, यही 2 गैस रिलीज होता है. चलो ये फार्मूला लिख लिया आप दोनों. Yeah. So we'll move to Faraday's second law. Second law of Faraday. सेकंड लॉ ऑफ फैराडे कैसे होता है? सो विल टेक राइट. सो आई हैव टेकन 3 इलेक्ट्रोलाइटिक सेल्स. देख लीजिए, दिस इज 1 इलेक्ट्रोलाइटिक सेल, दिस इज अनदर इलेक्ट्रोलाइटिक सेल, दिस इज 3rd इलेक्ट्रोलाइटिक सेल. आई हैव टेकन 3 इलेक्ट्रोलाइटिक सेल्स. So in first case में 2 electrodes are placed. एक एनोड है, एक कैथोड है. So 2 electrodes are here. This is connected here. Even in the second also we got 2 electrodes. Third maybe we got 2 electrodes are placed here. तो इसका कनेक्शन इसके साथ कर रहा हूँ मैं. इवन दिस विल कनेक्ट टू दिस एंड दिस विल कनेक्ट टू द बैटरी. ये दोनों बैटरी से कनेक्ट हो गया है ऐसे. आई हैव टेकन 3 इलेक्ट्रोलाइटिक सेल्स एंड तीनों इलेक्ट्रोलाइटिक सेल्स में आई गॉट 3 different substances. In first case I got AgNO3. In second cell I got copper sulfate. In third cell I got sulfuric acid. Right. And one is anode, this is cathode, this is anode, this is cathode. So this is anode, this is cathode. So if anode of one electrode is connected to cathode of another electrode, the connection type is called as series connection. They are in the series. Three electrodes are connected in a series and the electricity is passed through the batteries. बोलिए आप देख लीजिए, if I switch on the battery here, what will happen? The electricity will pass through all the electrolytic cells and the same amount of electricity will be passed through the all three electrolytes. What do you say? So when they are in series, the time passing through all electrolytic cells is same, and so as I is also same. So I is also same.
I found this on the web for a series in the electricity is passed through the batteries if I switch on the battery.
Right. So we got a connection series where same current is passed through all electrolytes for same time. So then what will happen? Let us assume that in first electrolytic cell, the silver is deposited at cathode. In second electrolytic cell, the copper is deposited. In third electrolytic cell, the hydrogen gas is released. These are the cationic products in cathodes. So here, mass of silver so here mass of silver in first electrolytic cell is directly proportional to equivalent mass of silver. In second electrolytic cell, mass of copper is directly proportional to equivalent weight of copper. In third electrolytic cell, the mass of hydrogen is directly proportional to equivalent weight of hydrogen. Right? So we got this. So let us do one more thing. इसका proportionality symbols remove करेंगे. So what do I get here? Mass of Ag over EAG is a constant. So in second electrolytic cell, mass of copper and E copper is also a constant. Here also mass of H2 over E of H2 is also constant. Right? So what I got here? So mass of Ag by E of Ag, which is constant, mass of Cu over ECu, which is equal to mass of H2 over EH2. So ये होता है फाइनल रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ सेकंड लॉ. देख लीजिए सारे कांस्टेंट्स के बराबर थे, इसलिए मैंने सबको इक्वेट करके आई हैव फॉर्मेटेड दिस फॉर्मूला. दैट मीन्स इसमें देख लीजिए मास ऑफ सिल्वर को मैं x से रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा हूं, mass of copper I represented by y, mass of hydrogen I represented by z. Right? So these are the top numbers which are variables. Change हो सकता है depending upon the time and the current used in the chemical reaction. Whereas EAG is, EAG कैसे calculate करेंगे? So EAG is calculated, that is atomic mass by n factor. Atomic mass of silver is 108 and n factor is 1. So that E of Ag is equals to how much? 108. तो x by 108 लिखना है, because silver के लिए ये constant है. सो कॉपर के लिए E copper equals to again atomic mass by n factor. Atomic mass of copper is 63.5, so which is divided by 2, which is equals to 31.75 grams होगा. So this would be 31.75 grams है. एंड Z क्या होगा? Z में H2 is produced, H का वैलेंसी होता है 1 हाइड्रोजन 1 पॉजिटिव चार्ज, so which is equals to 1. So this formula you get here. So the meaning of this is, if one equivalent of current is used, one equivalent of current deposits 108 grams of silver, 31.75 grams of copper and 1 gram of hydrogen. This is how the 1 Faraday is required for it. So if you know the value of x, you can calculate the y and so as z. If you know any one of these x, y, z, you can solve for the rest. So this is the another expression of the Faraday second law. So आपको इसको लिख लेना चाहिए, लिख लीजिए इसको. So right, we'll see some questions, then it would be very easy for us to understand. Yeah, we'll take up some questions from our Telugu Academy, then we'll go to the PYQs पे जाएंगे. So आपको बुक ओपन करके देखना है. So कहाँ पर आएंगे? यहाँ पर आएंगे. But before that, so right, so here is a question. I'll write the question here. Question is, copper sulfate solution is electrolyzed for 10 minutes. So using a current of 1.5 amperes. So what is the mass of copper formed at cathode? This is the question asked. So we have to do it on the basis of our Faraday first law. So M equal to, so atomic mass, mass of the copper equals to atomic mass of copper by its n factor into I into T by 96,500. We list out the things given to us. Time given is 10 minutes, तो इसको seconds में convert करना है into 60, which is how much? 600 seconds. And the I is given 1.5 amperes. And copper sulfate का atomic mass होता है, atomic mass is 63.5 है. So n factor for copper sulfate में ये +2 state में है, so n factor is 2. Right, all the values are there, just plug in here and you will get the answer. So M copper equals to atomic mass is 63.5 divided by 2 into I is how much? 1.5 amperes, time is 600 seconds divided by 96,500. Right, so थोड़ा simplify करेंगे. So zeros get cancel out, 2 goes how many times? 3 times, right? So this is 4.5, 1.5 into 3 would be 4.5. So what I left here, 63.5 into 4.5 divided by 965 है, ये बचा हुआ है, इसको मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे, 63.5 इंटू 4.5 मल्टीप्लाई करना है, 5 5 are 25, 2 15 17, got 1 30 31, so this is 2, so this is going to be 14 1 25, so I get 5 7 5 8 2, so I have to place the 2 decimals.
So 0.296.
Yeah, so what do you get here? So 285.75 divided by 96.5, इसको डिवाइड करें तो आपको आंसर मिल जाएगा. सो कितना आना चाहिए आंसर? 0.2938 ग्राम्स आता है. Right, so we have one more question. क्वेश्चन देख लीजिए कैसा है. 0.5 amperes of current passes through a metallic wire for 2 hours. How many electrons are transferred here? How many electrons are transferred? ट्राई करो कैसे करेंगे. तो एम्पियर्स और टाइम दिया है, यू हैव टू फाइंड द क्यू. क्यू इक्वल टू आई इंटू टी. सो आई इज 0.5 एम्पियर्स इंटू टी इज टाइम. 2 आवर्स है, इसको सेकंड्स में कन्वर्ट करना है. सो 2 इंटू 60 करेंगे तो बिकम्स मिनट्स, इंटू 60 करेंगे इट बिकम्स सेकंड्स. सो दिस इज द क्यू वैल्यू आपको मिलेगा. So कितना आएगा देखो एक बार. So this becomes 1, right? 5 into 2, this gets cancelled out. So 6 6s are 36. So it is 3600 Qs, right? So 1 Q, that is 1 Faraday, that is 96,500 coulombs equals to 1 mole of electrons, right? 6.02 into 10 power 23 electrons. 1 Faraday, this many hai. So this is what we have calculated here. How many coulombs of electricity is here? So 3600 coulombs will equal to how many electrons? तो क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई 3600 coulombs into 6.02 into 10 power 23 over 96,500. चलो ट्राई करो इसको, आंसर कैसे आएगा. तो ये 0 0 कैंसिल हो गए. 36 into 6 by 965. So it is 36 into 6 divided by 96.5 equals to 0.2238. Okay, so which is equals to 0.2238 into 10 power 23. That means 2.2 into 10 power 22 is the answer. Do you understand this question? राइट, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देख लीजिए. क्वेश्चन कुछ ऐसा है. हाउ मच चार्ज रिक्वायर्ड फॉर इट? Charge required for first one 1 mole Al plus 3 to Al. Next 1 mole Cu plus 2 to Cu. So 1 mole MnO4 minus 2 Mn plus 2. बोलिए, आंसर सिंपल है. How many electrons are required here?
3 Faraday, 2 Faraday and 5 Faraday.
So 3 moles of electrons, so which is equals to 3 Faradays. Here 2 moles of electrons equals to 2 Faradays. Here you have to find the change in oxidation number. Manganese is in +7 oxidation state, here it is +2. So 5 electrons are required, which is equals to 5 Faradays. Right? So number of electrons can be written as Faradays. आपको इसको लिख सकते हैं. Right. Right, here we have some questions. I'll mark it out. You have to check which can be done. Right, you try this one. Amount of electricity in coulombs. Amount of electricity in coulombs required for oxidation of 1 mole of H2O to O2 is this much. So what is the gap here? चलो try करो. You have to try the question number 2. So what is saying? 1 mole of H2O को आपको किस में कन्वर्ट करना है? O2 में कन्वर्ट करना है. ये 1 मोल है, O2 में कन्वर्ट करना है. O2 प्लस H2 आपको मिलेगा. सो हियर हाफ O2 मिलेगा और H2 मिलेगा. हाउ मेनी इलेक्ट्रॉन्स आर ट्रांसफर्ड इन दिस रिएक्शन यू हैव टू कैलकुलेट. जस्ट यू चेक द ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर ऑफ ऑक्सीजन एंड आंसर इज in your pocket. Oxidation number of oxygen
3.86
-2, here it is 0. What is the answer?
3.86.
3.86 आ रहा है. तो यहाँ you can see that 2 Faraday, right? Energy required is 2 Faraday. So 2 Faraday equals to 2 into 96,500. 96,500. 6 miss हो गए. It's 96,500. बस इसको डबल करो. 96,500 को डबल करने से 0 0. This will be 1 6 6 12 plus 1. So 193. This one. So we got 193,000. So you got 5 decimals change करना है. 1 2 3 4 5. So 1.93 into 10 power 5. What was your answer? You said?
Sir, I got 4 Faraday, sir, because they asked 1 mole. So
Yeah, it's 1 mole of H2O. It's not 1 mole of O2, right?
O2.
If
I
it is,
felt both are 1 mole only.
no, both are not 1 mole. You are given 1 mole of H2O.
Okay.
Do you understand the logic?
Yes.
Now if you ask to calculate 1 mole of O2, that is correct. So for that you need 2 moles of water, right? 2 equations है, आपको उसका wording समझना है, बस उतना ही, nothing else. So this is 1 mole of H2O gives H2 plus half O2. This is one case. So 2 moles of H2O gives 2 moles of H2 plus O2. तो इसमें 2 Faradays required है, इसमें 4 Faradays required है. आपका क्वेश्चन क्या है? 1 mole of H2O given to you or 2 moles of H2O is given?
1 mole.
1 mole of H2O is given to you, so that's why the answer is this one, right? Yeah, you can solve the 7th question. 7th try कर लीजिए. The mass of zinc produced by the electrolysis of zinc sulfate solution with a steady current of this much per minute is how many grams? Direct question है, देख लीजिए. What formula you need to use? So mass of zinc equals to zinc atomic mass is given to us 65.4. So in zinc sulfate, zinc is in +2 state में, +2, that is n factor is 2. What is the current used? 0.015 amperes. And what is the time? Time you always take it in the seconds, don't get confused here. Into 60 divided by 96,500. So this goes how many times? 30, even 0, 0 can also be cancelled, right? So what are we left with? This one. Can I cut with 5? 5 goes, 5 1, you got 4, 5 9s, 5 3s and 0.
Sir, approximately 45 into 10 to the power 4.
45 हो रहा है. Yeah, it's only the maths is left over. We'll see in the calculator. Okay. So it turns out to be 45 something other. So even I have the answers for this. Yeah, this is the answer. So कितना रहा? 45 point